You are listening to the We Are West Ham podcast with me, Will Pugh, and my best pal in the whole of the West Ham world, James Jones. James, I mean, you are a good pal of mine away from West Ham, mate. I just felt a little bit guilty for my two friends who I have known for about 25 years, calling my best mate. They'd get a bit jealous. So I hope you don't mind a little caveat at the end. However, I'm delighted that you're here, regardless of your status and the level of friendship in my life. We come into it off on the back of a bad day for you in your personal, professional life. Not so what I thought was a bad day for me until I spoke to you. A bit of an iffy result away at Tottenham Hotspur. But, Jonesy, and this is what we're going to focus on this week's podcast, just for the sake of both of our moods, if nothing else. We come into it on the back of the best game in event, I'm going to say, the best sporting event the London Stadium has ever seen. And yes, I am including the Olympics, Super Saturday and all of that garbage, because you cannot tell me that West Ham United 2, European giants, masters of the Europa League, Sevilla 0, to win 2-1 on aggregate at an absolutely electric, rocking, bouncing, raucous London Stadium was not the greatest thing that's ever been held there, if actually the greatest thing that's ever been held in London. What an occasion that was last Thursday, Jonesy, for me, you, everyone we went with, and everyone else who attended the game who is of a West Ham persuasion. It was absolute cloud nine stuff. It's hard to put into words just how euphoric the feeling was and how happy it was. And just, I mean, well, obviously we're going to have to try and do that, mate, because otherwise it'd be a bit of a sham of a podcast, won't it? If we just say, yeah, there aren't any words for it, everyone. Sorry, we'll see you next week. Yeah, how are you, mate? And Sevilla, I mean, let's just talk about that, shall we? Who really cares about Tottenham?
Yeah, I'm not really bothered about the Tottenham game, if I'm honest. It's all about Thursday night, isn't it? Like, as you literally just said, I'm still trying to find the words to describe how good it is. Since then, a lot of people, particularly at work, have been going, "Oh, how was it on Thursday night? It looked really good on the TV." And you just find yourself going, "Oh, it was just incredible," but then that doesn't really do it justice.
It doesn't do it justice at all.
Like,
no,
and they're just
right.
like, "Oh yeah, it looked good," and I'm like, "No, it was more than good. You genuinely don't understand it."
Yeah.
It was outrageously good. It was just literally the best thing I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah.
Genuinely the greatest night of my life.
You do the thing I do, where you just shudder in place of any appropriate words. You're just like,
and they're just like, "Oh yeah, I'm really happy for you." And it's like, no, you still don't understand.
Yeah, you're not happy enough.
Yeah, you need to be
happier.
Happy. Yeah, it really was just glorious from start to finish. The moment we decided to have a couple of beers outside the ground at the Heineken bar, knew it would be busy, knew the atmosphere would be good. It was a little bit too busy for my liking. You could barely move. But we managed to get some beers. Atmosphere out there was good. I love the DJ at the top of that Heineken bar, by the way. He thinks he's David Guetta. It's hilarious. I absolutely love it. And it was just a really good atmosphere. And you kind of, it was then where I was just like, something's going to happen tonight. Something special is going to happen tonight. I really, really feel it. And we step foot, pitched like sort of to our seats, and you like in the light show, and everyone's just absolutely rocking before the players had even literally come out the tunnel. Just felt like something special was going to happen, and that's exactly what happened. It's what it was. It was special, and I've never been prouder, if I'm honest, mate.
No, I mean, I was and am still so happy because of it. It's just for the fact it's the first time as well. That obviously is a huge part of it. The fact it's also novel for us now. The fact the caliber of opposition were outstanding, and we'll get onto it. But the atmosphere was brilliant, man. I loved it so much. It just made me so happy, the whole thing. And those are the sort of things I often have this thing in my life I look back on I sort of think, how will I look back on this day, week, month when if I'm on my deathbed or whatever. It sounds a bit morbid, but that's, you know what I mean? It sort of keeps me like on my toes and making difficult decisions if I have to, and trying to enjoy my life as much as I can, right? And you look back at that, and that'll be what when deathbed will, as I call him. If someone's round me going, "Oh, what are the 5 best things like you did in your life or occasions or whatever?" That's got to be like rank number 1, certainly in the West Ham sphere. I've done lots of other cool things and I haven't had any kids and all that sort of stuff, so my bar might be somewhat lower of things that make me unfathomably happy. But it was just amazing, wasn't it? And the thing that I was just going to mention then, Jonesy, we will get onto it, of course. The performance, it was honestly, I've never seen a West Ham team play like it. It was flawless to a man. No one put a foot wrong, and it really was. You see lots of flowery language come out, but that really was, I felt, 2 bodies, like the players and the fans, just feeding off each other. The energy in the place was amazing. And just when you thought, because it was a high intensity game from West Ham, high pressing on and off the ball, we were just lively and energetic. And you sort of thought, oh, it's just a bit nervous when we get to the hour mark. And even after half time in the crowd, you thought, I hope the atmosphere keeps going after everyone's sort of had a bit of time away from the beers, or they had a couple of half time, gone to get something to eat and feel a bit more relaxed or whatever. There was none of that. Like, sort of at every time when you were worried it would lull, everyone, players or crowd, whoever went first, went again. And it was just, just fabulous.
I think that's one of the things that makes me happiest about Thursday, is that we didn't just beat Sevilla, we beat Sevilla. We literally, it wasn't like it was a smash and grab in extra time. We beat them. We beat second in the league Sevilla, 6-time Europa League champion Sevilla, comfortably on the night. And you're right, it was the fans just fed off the players fed off the fans. There was a stage, probably even before Soucek had scored his header, where I turned to my mate and went, "There's absolutely no way we're losing this. Just look at this place. There's just absolutely no way we're losing this." Even like Ariola's save just lifts the crowd even more.
That was huge, wasn't it?
And it was such a massive save, and you just think, this is absolutely, we just don't lose. This is a game that West Ham will not lose. We'll find a way.
How rare is that feeling?
I know, but it's rare, and then for it to arrive on a night like it did, and an occasion like it did against opposition that we were up against, just makes it just all the more glorious for me. It won't be beaten, obviously, unless we do it in the next round. But
wow. I think that's the thing, because next round we won't know if we're through, will we?
Exactly.
Home?
So exactly.
It's a different proposition, of course. But honestly, mate, we spoke about this before, haven't we? We've mentioned it a lot the past couple of weeks. There are different levels of football supporter. People will always say, "Oh no, everyone's the same. If you support your team, you support your team," right? I don't buy that. And people come at me if you want. I'm not here for an argument. I'm just saying my opinion, whatever. Me and you are match-going fans, as I call them. With all our experience of supporting West Ham, the way we've done it has been to go to matches, yeah? Appreciate everyone can't do that for different reasons. I'm not digging anyone out or whatever who can't, or for whatever reason it is. But I've sort of always gone. So have you. West Ham is one of the foremost, like, formative things in my life that sort of dictates my behaviour, my mood, what I do, the sort of things I do, socialising, who I do them with, etc., etc. I know you're similar to me as well. So because it's always meant so much to me, the club and the experience and all that sort of stuff, just like it is for thousands of other people, I think because of the nature of what supporting West Ham has been in the 26 years since my first game, and no doubt the same for you. And by that, the nature, I mean mediocre crap on the football pitch, with a sense of camaraderie and atmosphere, and the identity of the club being basically the best thing about the club for years was the fans and a couple of excellent flair players that everyone loved and cult heroes. You know, they're like the Canios, Carlos Tevez, Thomas Repka. You know, it's players like that, isn't it? And that was all West Ham was, really. A good fan base, good atmosphere, a lovely ground that everyone loved. And the odd good player would pass through every now and then. So I think to be involved in an occasion like that, and exactly what you said, and for the fans to do their bit as they have always done, but even to not exceed expectations, because I knew the fan base had it in them, but to put in a 10 out of 10 performance of their own, like to a man and woman and child in that place. Honestly, I love it. I mean, it was like the Ipswich game in the playoffs, which that other famous one, and I remember just seeing people of like 75 up and clapping and doing "We Are West Ham" are massive and twirling scarves around their head. And normally the people I sit around every week anyway. Normally they're not like that if it's Brighton at home or whatever, obviously. So all the fans did their part, but then for the team to do it as well, while the whole of Europe is watching, fans from across Europe, that was the tie of the round, wouldn't it? Would have been watching that game, and I just thought, well, I don't know how it can get better than this. I don't know how it can get better than this, because this is it right here.
You've summed it up in that, you know, that's nights like that don't happen to West Ham.
No,
they haven't happened to West Ham in our lifetime. You mentioned the playoff semi against Ipswich, and you know that's probably the closest we've got to a night like that.
Yeah, well, atmosphere-wise, for sure.
Atmosphere-wise, it just doesn't happen to West Ham United Football Club. Like that's not what. Yeah, it was what we were promised.
That's for other teams, isn't it?
It's for other teams, yeah, and it was what we were promised when we went into that stadium. And I've been thinking about that a lot since that night, and that's exactly what we were told we were going to be getting. Maybe even above and beyond what we were told we were getting in terms of just sheer emotion, euphoria, success, everyone pulling together. And yeah, okay, it's taken 6 years for us to get there, but that's what it's like, and that's what we should be about to go right every single season. We need nights like
for sure, mate.
We need nights like that. We've had a taste of it. It's addictive for a start. It's incredible.
Yeah, that is true.
And you just look at it and go, I can't bear the thought of us not being in Europe again next season because of that night on Thursday. I'd had it in my mind, okay, there's a possibility that we might not qualify for Europe next year because players are knackered. But then that was before Thursday, and now after Thursday, I'm like, we have to be in some kind of European competition next year because
mate,
that can't be the absolute pinnacle of West Ham United. We need to build on that. That's a night everyone associated with the football club, from the fans all the way up to the top board level, should be looking at that night and going, that's what West Ham United need to be from now on. That's the future.
Yeah.
We need this every single season. I'm not saying we should be going and winning trophies, European trophies every season, but that's the level for me. That's the level. And it's really given us a taster of what I think we can hope to expect in the coming years, particularly under David Moyes, but hopefully beyond that as well. And as I said, it's just so addictive. I just want more of it. I want to do more of it. I'm gutted I'm not going to the quarter final, the home leg.
Yeah, the home leg. Mate, huge news from Pugh and James Jones this last week.
Yeah.
We'll get on to that in a minute. But Lyon, here we come, baby.
Yeah, we're going to Lyon, but I'm missing the home leg, because I'll be in Dubai. I'm gutted about that.
See us go through though, mate.
Hopefully, yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. But just after last Thursday, I want it to be in every home game. But obviously, the dates haven't fallen right for me. But as I said, just everything about it just made me, and I'm sure every single West Ham fan in the world, just go, need more of that now. Want more of it. Inject more of it into me, because it's just incredibly addictive and incredibly fun. Yeah.
So right,
they're the words we were looking for at the beginning, I think.
Yeah, addictive. Yeah. Oh yeah, if you could bottle that, Jonesy, if you could bottle that feeling up and sell it, I mean that's a bit of I feel like a bit of a James Jones there, because that is a proper cliche, that isn't it? But if you could
It's
like
true,
bottle that
though,
up and
like-
sell it, you'd make a fortune. Where it would be a Class A drug, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Because
100%.
that feeling cannot be replicated. Absolutely not. Like, just definitely not. Even now talking about it, mate, which is what I'm so glad about. And I remember having these feelings a couple of times before, but I'm just so glad that the feeling has like stayed with me, and it will for ages. And like, honestly, and I know Tottenham fans are larking about going, West Ham fans saying I don't care about Sunday. I went on Sunday. It was a working capacity. But before, I really just didn't have the energy again. Like, I was just like, I had a feeling we were going to lose. But yeah, and we lost to Tottenham away, and that's the most important game of my season every year is Tottenham. And if I could pick one we could win, I'd pick Tottenham away every single season. I'd pick that to win away at Tottenham. And I just, I was bothered. And I was like, that's a shame. It's a bit annoying, especially when it's 3-1, 2-1. I'd been like, okay. Because they were just better than us. We were worn out. But I was like, if this is the price to pay for what happened on Thursday, happy days. Take my money. Take the points, whatever.
All day long. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just think it's funny because someone mentioned the other day about the Europa Conference League next season. And it feels so hypocritical of me. And I'm a little bit surprised that it's actually happened. But I'm like, oh, no. We're very much a Europa League team these days. Like, that is beneath us. Have no doubt about it that I'm Europa.
I'm of a different view, but yeah.
Yeah. Are you really?
Yeah, I think that, Europa League's been incredible this season.
Mira can get in the sea, mate. No chance.
Yeah, but no, it's been incredible this season and like beyond all expectations for me, and I'm sure everyone else. But I still don't think we can turn our noses up at the Conference League. I don't think we're at that level yet.
No, but I am. I
know you are. Yeah, I just think that just as long as we're in a European competition of some kind, I don't think the Conference League is as bad as everyone makes it out to be.
The group stages sounded pretty naffers, but Leicester playing Rennes or whatever, that'd be quality, wouldn't it?
Exactly. I mean, Roma are still in it. Tottenham would be in it if they could be bothered to play some of their group stages. It's not a bad competition. You'll get some big clubs in there, and I'm not going to turn my nose up at it. I don't think we're at that level yet. But obviously, you'd much prefer the Europa League.
Yeah.
Everyone's new favourite competition, but yeah. I'm not gonna turn my nose up.
Fair enough, mate. Well, look, Jonesy, this is a bit thinking on the spot here, and a conversation we perhaps should have had before we hit record on the podcast. But it's a little bit of a shorter show this week. No games coming up because we've got the international break next week, and we should just let everyone know now that we're going to have a week off next week. Jonesy, you're in Dubai, aren't you?
I'm Dubai week after next.
The week after next. Sorry. I'm on holiday next week. I'm going to be shooping down the mountains in La Plaine in France. I'm flying into Lyon Airport, actually. There's going to be a couple of visits to Lyon Airport in the space of a few short weeks. I don't know I do know which one I'm more excited for, actually. I love skiing a lot, but going to see West Ham Europa League quarterfinal is far more exciting. So next week. Josie, you got some bits on as well, haven't you? So we don't do it often. We haven't done it for a while. But we are going to have a week off because it's just proving a little bit too difficult to get something together. So I hope that's all right. Falls on an international break as well, which is handy on that front because not loads to look forward to or back on. No Betway charity bets and all that sort of thing. Jonesy, what do you think then about just rather than being too structured like we normally do, we'll just kind of roll it all into one this evening? We've got no stuff to put in.
Might as well.
Live a little, eh? Live a little.
Yeah.
YOLO. Exactly, YOLO. I will remind everyone, as I always do, YOLO's, it's like, I like the phrase, but I think, you certainly more so than me, but even I'm getting to that age now where it's just not really that appropriate anymore. And
I did think to myself, blimey, I'm 33 years old. I've just said YOLO on a podcast.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly. Well, look, a little bit of housekeeping as always. Follow us on Twitter at @WeAre_West Ham. Please, we're on Instagram at We Are West Ham Pod. Facebook, search We Are West Ham Podcast. Do the same on YouTube, where you'll find our channel. Subscribers are growing quite nicely over there. Jonesy, understand. Jonesy doing a brilliant job with all the video content that comes off the back of this podcast. And you can email us as well at wearewesthampod@gmail.com. Links to all the ways you can follow us and contact We Are West Ham are included in the description to this pod. Loads you've been getting in touch recently, which has been nice. Robin Punter got involved in the week, Jonesy. And last message I'd got from Robin, well, I think we read one of his messages out again, but he got involved to say he was listening to a certain podcast, which I actually think was this one, and on a recent episode just before that Sevilla home game, he heard one of the hosts suggest that quite sarcastically, Andriy Yarmolenko is not the answer, and we're not going to beat. Is not the answer to beating Sevilla at home in the Europa League. Robin got in touch at @WeAre_West Ham on Twitter, directly with me actually at William Pugh _ and said, funny, Will, because there was someone on a podcast I listened to recently saying Yarmolenko's not the answer. I can't remember his name for the life of me. Fortunately, I remembered it was @by James Jones on Twitter. So yeah, do feel free. Thoughts on that actually, Jonesy? Your statement, and then Robin's absolutely outstanding Twitter engagement.
I know. I appreciate Robin for digging me out there. I probably did deserve it, but I don't think many people can blame me for kind of just toning it down a little bit on the Yarmolenko front. Going, yeah, okay, he was superb coming off the bench and scoring against Villa, but let's not expect too much of him too soon. But yeah, what a man.
Yeah, what an absolute hero. So get in touch with us on social media if you can. That's good. And don't forget, you can buy us a beer and support the podcast at buymeacoffee.com/wearewestham. Loads of you have done that already, and we really appreciate it. You can donate from as little as £5 each, and as we always say, the money goes straight to me and Jonesy, and it either goes in the coffers, which will be used on beers or equipment or guest fees to make the podcast better. I'm delighted to say that this time around, actually, we have dipped into our the We Are West Ham podcast coffers to fund a couple of flights to and from Lyon for me and Jonesy. We'll be doing, as I was doing out in Seville, we'll do some opposition views, some content from in and around the stadium, in and around the city, and that sort of thing. We'll do a podcast while we're out there as well, which will go up. Thanks to those of you who've done that already at buymeacoffee.com/wearewestham. That is being put to very good use late or next month. That'll be for that away quarterfinal at Lyon. Jonesy, then we're not going to do what's coming up on the show. The Sevilla game, we'll do it in a sort of chronological order. We'll start with Sevilla. So we've gone over the atmosphere and all that sort of thing. It's hard, really, isn't it? Because everything was so perfect. What were like the standouts from you? Was there any players in particular you noticed? Any things that happened you remember, or just little stories you want to recount about the game? When you look back, what are the things that stand out? What do you think of? What do you what would you like to do all over again? Or just the whole thing from beginning to end?
Obviously, yeah, that. But I think the big standout performance for me was Antonio. I thought he was absolutely superb on the night. Assisted the first goal for Soucek, but then if you watch the goal back, played such an important role in the second, and holding the ball up, causing a few problems, sucking a few defenders in, and then allowing Lanzini to get the ball out wide to Fornals. And I just thought for the whole 118, 19 minutes that he was on the pitch, I thought he was just absolutely superb. Caused Seville all sorts of bother in defence, and he's come under a lot of criticism, and obviously Moyes digged him out after the Spurs game. But I thought he really, really showed that actually he can be a very, very effective and important striker for us, even if he's not getting on the score sheet. It's just, I think his fitness levels and tiredness is probably stopping him from being a little bit more consistent. But he turned up when it mattered most. I think he needs a lot of credit for that. And then the other one is obviously, as I've already mentioned, the save from Areola. Just game changing for me. If they score there, does the stadium go a little bit flat? We'll never know. Do fans sort of get a little bit tense? Does that change the
I honestly,
whole...
mate, I don't think it would have. And it's easy to say now. I genuinely think the way it was going, I don't think it would have, would it?
Yeah, but I think at that moment, you wonder, like, in the moment, I remember thinking, if that had gone in, like, we might have been in trouble. Thankfully, away goals don't count, but it would have made it a lot harder for us, wouldn't it? So, for me, that was game changing. And Zuma was just absolutely sensational. Like, he was everywhere. I don't think Dawson headed one ball. It was just Dawson just winning everything. Zuma winning everything, and but every single player was good. Every single player was class.
Yeah.
I mean, me and my mates were having a debate after. I would put that in probably as, it's difficult to say number one because you don't remember every single performance ever, gladly, thankfully. But that's got to be up there in terms of best performance, particularly in my lifetime. But when was the last time you can remember just a performance like that? Forget the atmosphere that went with it, but the performance.
But I honestly think, mate, you can't really talk.
It's difficult to really quantify
the stage. No, because I honestly, I mean, we've had some good performances of beating big teams. You know, played really well against City in the League Cup earlier this season. But I just think fans will no doubt be able to think of good performances, you know, when we're beating teams 4 or 5-0. But I think you can't discount how good Sevilla are. We saw it in the away league. They've got some outstanding players. And we just went toe-to-toe with a brilliant football team and came out on the right side. And I think because of the stage, we were 1-0 down for. I think all of that, you have to factor all that in. And yeah, you're totally right. And even when we think back to those big occasions, right? The last game at Upton Park was obviously, that was similar, wasn't it? As in, we performed so well. We conceded 2 goals in that game. You know, that was similar, like, what's it called? The crowd and the players in unison. And the Ipswich game before that. The 2006 Cup final was good, but we lost. The playoff finals that we've won have been scrappy 1-0s, haven't been flawless performances, but we've won the game, so great. So no, I mean the last game up to Park was great. We conceded twice, and it was a bit up and down. It was an entertaining fixture, and it was great when we won it. But that Sevilla game was flawless. Like, I barely even remember like 1 or 2 sloppy passes. It just, every decision, minor and major, like minor and macro. No, what was I saying? Micro and macro. That's it.
Yeah.
The big and small decisions were spot on, all of them. Like, bar you, it's one of those. It just seemed like a 98-99% efficiency game on both sides of the ball, and people go, Sevilla had nothing. They were stopped. That was against us. That we won. It wasn't one of those games where Sevilla did not lose that game. West Ham United went out and won it, hands down. They had a couple of half chances, and Areola, that save. I didn't realize. I knew it was good at the time. I saw the replay afterwards. Wow, that was absolutely phenomenal. And so no, Jonesy. Honestly, as performance-wise, when you take everything into consideration, which you can't help but consider, then no, flawless, absolutely flawless. Woo, you gotta go to the city. But if I can find that, I don't know if we'll get sued for copyright or whatever. I might that might be the little interject, and instead of "Come on, you irons" in the intervals this week, I might just get George Michael flawless up there. But I can't really, mate. I can't think of a better performance because there was just no room for it to be better. We didn't concede. The goalie played well. I tweeted after the game. I thought it was going to be like a big boy personal best viral one. Not bad in the end. About 600 Yeah, 626. So not too bad. As I said, not sure I've seen such a flawless West Ham performance. Flawless, woo! A potent mix of instinct, skill, desire, work rate, confidence, and a clear plan. Massive hats off to Moisey as well. Obviously, the players had to go out and execute it, which they did perfectly. But Moisey dictated that, picked that game out, and played it to perfection. But every player was at least a 9 out of 10, all on the back of the most phenomenal atmosphere London Stadium's ever seen. Amazing stuff. We had one bloke, everyone else saying, totally agree. Can't think of a player who didn't do their job. That was from Ian. Paul Colesill. I knew we had a great chance when Rice started working the crowd. That night showed where we need to be. Billy didn't make a change to the 85th minute either. Sevilla just couldn't cope. But one bloke, Brooker at @hammer_Brooker on Twitter, said, not sure I'd give Antonio a 9, but everyone else definitely. Jeff Longhurst, who we've had on the show before, Kate Longhurst's dad, from the West Ham women, he got involved. He said, what Antonio's superb, pulling the defence away to create space, did so much for the team. And that's what I had to chip in with as well. It was just, lately he hasn't been very good at all, and everyone's agreed on that. But you really had to watch him. I tweeted back, nothing headline grabbing, but if you really watched him, it was best game for months. But that was wrong. There was headline grabbing. He set up Soucek for the goal. It was his cross. And he was, like you said, he got like a pre-assist or whatever in the build-up to the winner. So...
He caused them all sorts of problems.
It was one of the better of an excellent bunch, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And one man, Jonesy, I've just got to say, it was a different way of him playing to what we used to, but you'd be hard pressed to show me a better game Manuel Lanzini has had in a West Ham shirt. He was phenomenal. He was everywhere, doing everything. He was slide tackling people, for God's sake. The bloke hasn't tackled anyone for like 5 years, and he's running back in his own half, pulling off slide tackles. On the ball, he was dictating everything. It was like the Manuel Lanzini we all thought we were going to see, being one of the leading attacking midfield players in the world. And I honestly just think, mate, if you were Sevilla after that, you sitting in the change room and go, well, what else? What do we do? How do you beat that? How do you beat those players playing that style to perfection in that atmosphere? You don't win those games of football.
I think the press in Seville have said something like that as well. I saw someone published a quote from a Spanish newspaper based in Seville that basically went, fair play to West Ham and their fans for that night. We were beaten by a very, very, very good side, but also just an atmosphere that is just unrivaled. Like, you just don't beat that. So even the Spanish journalists and the Sevilla press were just like, hands up. Yeah. Nothing we can do about that.
I think one of my favourite ones I heard, mate, was a Seville fan at the airport on the way back was quoted as saying that that's the best away atmosphere. He said, I've been to Galatasaray away, which was at the time beyond anything I've ever seen. And he said that was better than that. And, I've always thought, to get Galatasaray away, I'd love to go to a game in Turkey. Some of the atmospheres there are phenomenal. And to read that, I just thought, well, yeah, because it won't get better than that, will it? And I think it's fair to say, all right, maybe at Tottenham. I don't know if we've necessarily seen it yet, that they've had a game of that like magnitude at that stadium where... Do you know what I mean? I feel like there's slightly at West Ham and Spurs, people go giving them credit, but I think the tourist to actual fan ratio at West Ham and at Tottenham, I'm not saying there's no tourists, but the tourist to fan ratio is more favourable, isn't it, than say an Arsenal or a Manchester United?
Yeah,
or a Liverpool. So, and with that, you get a more raucous atmosphere. That the other night was packed out with West Ham United fans, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a seat to be had. And I just think with that, you can't really... That is going to be unrivaled because of the size of it, isn't it? Because of the size of the stadium. When you pack it out with actual fans, which doesn't happen at other stadiums of similar sizes in the country, especially the way West Ham fans have always been, that is a unique thing you're going to get, isn't it? It's not going to happen all the time, of course not. People go, "Oh, we like that for Watford at home because it's flipping Watford at home." That's why. That's the exact reason why. It's not your hope of getting into a European quarter final. Yeah, I just think it's unique, and the way it went off was you couldn't have. Well, if you'd written it, that's how you'd write it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it did feel as well that there were more people in the ground than should have been.
You think?
It was weird because where I am at the edge of my aisle, edge of our row, on the stairs, that normally you get people that kind of end up sort of seeping out onto the stairwell during the game, particularly if we're playing well and got lots of chances and everyone's kind of like on edge a little bit. But turning round, and I wish I got a picture of it because literally the whole of the stairwell was just packed.
Oh, really?
Absolutely packed. I had to fight my way through to go to the toilet midway through the second half.
Yeah,
I literally couldn't get up the steps. I had to literally push people out of the way. And I was like, where will these people come from? Like, it's a sellout crowd. Where were their seats? Like, why aren't they at their seats? And whether it was because
people from up the top, maybe just
people
wanted to actually see, maybe
closer, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. You really got 60,000 actual proper West Ham fans in there.
Yeah. And 60,000 in, that wasn't one of those which they normally do and say, oh, yeah, there's 59,000 in today. And like, it's, whoever, Bournemouth at home and the past couple of years where you can clearly see 10,000 season ticket holders who've just gone, nah, it's freezing cold. Like, I don't fancy watching this 1-1 draw on a Sunday lunchtime or whatever. There wasn't a ticket to be had, was there? It was a rare occasion where, I'm on a West Ham group chat with people who, don't go all the time. They'll pick up a spare if anyone's got one, and they'll go to 5 or 6 home games a season. Fine. And you had people on that group going, anyone know of any spares anywhere? And you could just get a sense, couldn't you, that all the tickets, like very much like the last game at Upton Park, if there was a ticket to be had, it was had and attended, and someone went to the game and there was a bum on a seat. And that's rarely happened, does it?
It was a club record, home ground, wasn't it?
Now, talk to me about this, Jonesy, because unless I'm very, very much mistaken, all right, the Sevilla fans didn't pack out the away end, and James, who we had on last week, saying they'd sold 2,000.
Yeah, I was telling my mates. I told all my mates about that, and they were like, "All right, cool." Got in there, it was like 900 of them. They were looking at my mates were looking at me like, "You talking about?" I was like, "No, the geezer told me."
Works for Seville. Yeah. But the away end looked exactly the same size as it always looks. So I don't know where it was, because I was expecting, when that announcement came out, I was expecting there to be I was expecting the away fans to be in the bottom tier and then the top tier to be West Ham as well, or vice versa, or whatever. But the away end was just blocked out, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm not too sure how they worked it out, but I think
felt like a porky to me.
Maybe, but I think it was 59,100 West Ham fans, which is a record West Ham home attendance for home supporters, or thereabouts.
Right. Maybe they were. The one thing I did think was maybe they were allowed to, like right at the back where they normally have all the black netting and all that. Maybe because they knew there were only 900 Seville fans going, that they were allowed to open more of those areas up, perhaps.
Maybe.
And take some of the black netting away, because the safety certificate just says you're allowed X amount of fans in the ground. Maybe because they knew that bottom bit was going to be closed, that they were allowed to remove some of the netting and get more Hammers fans in. I'm sure you wouldn't make such a big song and dance out of it unless it wasn't true. But look, phenomenal stuff, mate. 40 minutes in, all on that Sevilla. I could just talk about it forever, mate. It was just one of the best nights of my life. It was just phenomenal. Absolutely loved it. Manuel Lanzini I've mentioned there. Everyone else pretty brilliant. I don't think there was any other standouts. Oh, funny story, mate, just to sign off on. So I went for a beer after the game, and normally go into Tap East, just in Westfield. Nice, easy to get in now. Don't want to publicise that, actually, because it is hardly anyone knows about it or goes there. So I don't really want people to start hearing and taking all my spots in the queue after the game. But that was closed, so went round to the Bat and Ball. Wouldn't normally do that, but thought, whatever, it's the only place open. Got in there, had 2 or 3 pints, and that chucked out about 12 o'clock. And I learned the hard way that evening, despite having lived in Stratford for a year previously, that the Jubilee line, as I'm moseying through the station to get on the Jubilee line, the announcer comes over and says, "Oh, the last Jubilee train westbound is leaving in 1 minute at like 12:15." I was like, "What the hell is that all about?" Yeah, no cabs, no Ubers anywhere to be seen. Ubers have absolutely fallen off a cliff as well. Black cabs wanted about 300 quid to take me back home or whatever it was. Yeah, City Mapper was telling me it was going to take me till like 3 a.m, so I ended up sleeping on my mate's floor in Mile End just because wanted to keep the party going. But yeah, what a night it was.
Caps off a good night, that, doesn't it, mate?
Exactly,
you've had a good night when you end up on your mate's floor.
Exactly. Right, Jonesy, then looking forward, the draw was made the next morning. It almost didn't feel like enough time to soak it all in and be like, just keep on dwelling on it a bit. Because it's like, oh, blimey, next up. I was there sitting on Sky Scanner, got us our flights. Thanks to all the guys, all of you guys listening, really. We've used some of the money from the podcast coffers, be that donations at buymeacoffee.com/wearewestham, which lots of you guys have kindly chipped into that fund before, be it some of the not loads, but get a few quid, having done this for a couple of years now from some of the adverts and stuff we put in. Don't charge any of you lot, but well, obviously you'll have heard some of the sponsors we've had in our time as well. So me and James still working and doing full-time jobs. This is definitely not a retirement fund for either of us, but a few £100 that we got sitting in there. It was brilliant to be able to put that towards flights to Lyon. So just want to say thanks to all you guys for listening. If you haven't chipped in at the buymeacoffee.com/wearewestham, just listening and downloading it, get a few quid from the adverts and the sponsors as well. So thanks to you guys for your involvement in that. Jonesy, Lyon, when the draw was made, what was your thoughts beforehand? What did you think when it came out? And what do you think now, especially as we're actually going to the away leg, which I am fizzing about?
Yeah, I think it's a good draw. I think we probably got the pick of the draw. Big club in France. I really wanted Braga.
Yeah.
Or even Rangers, really. But those two sides, just fancy we beat them.
Leave that one out, yeah.
But yeah, I think Lyon's still a good draw. It's an exciting one. They're 10th in Liga, I think. So they're not having.
I forgot how good your pronunciation of Liga was.
Yeah. Well, if I say League One, you'd think we get promoted.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
See
next week.
But yeah, I mean they're mid-table in France, so they're not having the best of the season. You expect them to be doing a little bit better, which means that lots riding on them this year to try and win the Europa League to get into Europe next year, because I don't think they're looking unlike they'll qualify in their league. So, but they're beatable. They're more than beatable, and I think we've already knocked Sevilla out. There's absolutely no reason why we can't do the same to Lyon. But it's the semi-final draw, which is particularly tasty, mate. Because
I don't know how I feel about it though.
Everyone knows. I'm glad that we could potentially be playing Barcelona before the final. That because it means we'll be able to. It's because we'll be able to watch West Ham United at the Nou Camp.
Fair.
In a meaningful competition.
Well, it might mean that. Can you
just
do not jinx it, get ahead of yourself there, mate?
But when I saw that, I was like, actually, at first I was like, oh, that probably means we're not going to win this competition now. But at the same time, I was like, actually, no. Like, if we beat Lyon, it means that we're going to the Nou Camp.
Mate.
Literally the Mecca.
Can you imagine?
It's the Mecca of football for many, many football fans. And we could be going there in May.
To watch West Ham in the European semi-final.
In the European semi-final. I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it? So hopefully we get there. We still got to beat Lyon first, obviously.
Yeah, that's the thing, mate. I do not want to get caught into that trap.
But yeah, if we do beat Lyon, that's what's waiting for us. Obviously, they've got to beat Frankfurt. And if I'm honest, I don't really fancy taking on Frankfurt after what happened in Seville.
No.
It's not going to be nice for the fans, I don't think.
Very pleased that we didn't get drawn against them, yeah.
But if we're going to win this Europa League, then chances are we might have to play them. But it is what it is. But I was quite happy with the draw. and I'm very, very much looking forward to making the trip over to Lyon
Yeah.
midway through April
Yeah.
with you, mate, and just having a jolly good time. And
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an intense one, though, isn't it? Because I'd obviously made Sevilla like a mini little holiday and did 4 nights. This one, all a bit of a quicker turnaround. Fly out Thursday morning, fly back first thing Friday morning. It's going to be quite intense. Not much room for rest or sleep, but an enjoyable one nonetheless. Yeah, I'm as apprehensive about it as I am excited, I think.
Nah, I think it'd be good, mate. Be good. We'll just make the most of it. You got it, wouldn't you? And I'm definitely going to, because this will be my first Europa League away trip this season.
True, mate,
so, because obviously
we'll have a week in Barcelona, though, sure, if we get through.
Oh, definitely.
Just do a fortnight.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do a month, and then we'll just travel down to Seville for the final.
Yeah. Amazing, mate. Amazing. So we'll do an opposition view beforehand as far as Lyon goes. Tongo and Dembele is probably the most well-known player. Moussa Dembele up front. Former Celtic goal scorer Lucas Paqueta in midfield. Hussein Aouar, decent player. I mean, they've got some players in there, mate, really, haven't they? But if we can beat after you beat Seville, mate, over 2 legs, I know it's different because we're away second this time, which obviously played a huge part in what happened last time. But the atmosphere is going to be great at London Stadium again, isn't it? And hopefully we've got enough. But 60,000 odd seats at Lyon as well. It's exciting times. Exciting times indeed. Jonesy, right? Look, 46 minutes in, and we've finally shut up about Sevilla in the Europa League. Tottenham. Honestly, I was at the game. And it just felt meh. Like from before the game, it was a bit grey. It was Sunday, like late on Sunday, and I hate that slot anyway. Tottenham were just good, really, frankly. Heung-min Son and Harry Kane, and that Dejan Kulusevski, mate, is blinding.
What a little player,
he's a really, really good player. And honestly, I just think we were tired. We were worn out, especially towards the end. They came at us quickly. The 5 at the back didn't work. Arthur Masuaku hasn't got it anymore. I love King Arthur as much as anyone. He's just not good enough anymore. The 5 at the back didn't work, trying to match up against them. And those 3 players, like I said, Kane, Son and Kulusevski, were really good. And we barely even deserved our goal, really. It was a bit of sort of out of nowhere. We deserved to lose the game, and like I said already, if that's the price to pay for what happened Thursday, then take it, take the points, take my money, take whatever.
100%. I think it's weird because like the first 5-6 minutes we were knocking the ball about, and I thought this might go a little bit differently than I thought, but they're so good on the counter attack, and they Spurs. And when you've got Son and his pace, and he's so clinical.
Harry Kane was really good as well.
It annoys me how good Harry Kane is as a central midfielder, let alone a striker.
He's
just so good at dropping
deep.
What are you doing? It just annoys me. It's like, mate, just pick one and play that role.
Exactly. Just like score or set them, or just score. Actually, just go up and be a centre forward. Yeah, you're right.
But they were very good, and I think I said last week as well that the only defender of theirs that I rate is Romero. And he had Antonio on toast for all afternoon. He was just like, Antonio had no chance against him. Got bullied by him. That Bentancur in the middle did all right. I think he was quite good. But we were tired, and he knew it was going to happen. But I don't think we were even just tired physically, mentally as well, because it had taken so much out of those players emotionally on Thursday that they were just absolutely shot.
Yeah,
absolutely shot. And you can't really blame. Okay, Moyes shouldn't have really gone for the back 5. A lot of people questioned it when the team was announced. Decision to leave Fornals out. He wasn't dropped. He was rested. Like, the guy's played 42 games this season. Like,
Yeah, who was? Were people actually saying that? I saw your tweet, but I hadn't seen
I
anyone saying
was
he
flicking
dropped.
through, and I was going, "Oh, he's dropped 4 He's dropped 4 What's 4 done?" It's like, come on, have a
He
word with
played
yourself. He hasn't been
skin on
dropped.
Thursday. Yeah.
He's played 40. He's played more games than anyone else. The closest behind him is Bowen, who's been injured for kind of a month probably. Give him a bit of a break. So yeah, I'm not surprised he went for Masuaku. Someone was like, "Oh, why wouldn't put Cresswell there?" And so Cresswell's not a wing back, hence why he's not playing wing back.
Yeah, I know, mate. But
so yeah, it was a wrong decision on the day. But
mate, I'd have sooner put Kevin Nolan there.
Yeah,
Masuaku.
It is what it is. The way I see it is that David Moyes he's got credit in the bank for making silly, like, sort of tactical mistakes like that. Okay, it's against our rivals and you want to beat them, but as you quite rightly said, if Thursday night's the price to pay for that, then happy days. It is what it is. We were never beating them. So yeah, we move on. It does make top 4 a lot more difficult. It makes top 6 a lot more difficult.
Listen, mate. Top 4 was
top
never
4's
really
gone.
a thing, was
top
it?
4's
It was
gone,
never really a thing. Let's be honest.
But I think it makes top 6 a little bit more difficult, particularly Wolves on our.
You just got to win the Europa, mate.
We've got
that sounds fallacy, and yeah, I genuinely think the top 6 could still be on. There's going to be lots of
we've still got to play Arsenal
for the end of the season. Yeah, of course we have. Yeah,
still got to play Arsenal. Our running is quite difficult. I think we've still got to play Chelsea, Arsenal, City.
That's what I was saying, mate.
But
go hell bent to the Europa.
It's doable, and there's no reason why we still can't do both. Why
would you not at this stage now? Honestly, why would you not prioritise that? We've proven we can cut the mustard against Lyon or whatever. To get a game against Barcelona will be the biggest. It will be the biggest game since I've been alive. That will usurp the cup final in 2006, the European semi-final over 2 legs against Barca. Biggest game in my lifetime. I would venture to suggest maybe not my dad's Cup Winners' Cups and all that sort of stuff. Now, all right. And if we come 8th and we've had Seville and we beat Lyon and you end up playing Barcelona, who the hell's remembering where we came this season?
Absolutely.
And we've had made a good fist of it, done all right in the cups. Yeah, honestly, mate.
I think you got to go for it purely because I do think we'll finish in the top 7, which will mean we'll be in Europe next season one way or another. So you've got to go for the Europa League. It is a no-brainer. We've just got to go for it. And what happens in the league, it is what it is, you know. I think this season has now become Europa League or bust, really. And that's the way it should be. I mean, as we said right at the beginning, it's what we've been promised for so long. Let's go for it. Now we've got this far. We've got further than I think any of us really expected us to get.
In the Europa, you mean?
I think so, yeah. I think so. I think
when that draw was made, I think because we've managed to get through such a European giant, it just feels like an achievement whatever happens.
Yeah, and I mean, when at the end of last season, it's like Europa League next year, and then you get people going, "Oh, imagine if we went on and won it. Imagine if we went on and won it." It's like, all right. And then the group stage is made, and one of my mates, I still remember it now. He was like, "We're going to win this. We're going to win the competition. We're going to win it." And everyone was like, "Oh, shut up!"
Yeah,
like you ain't got a clue, mate. You're talking rubbish. That's why I think no one really. People joked about it. People laughed about it. People thought, "Yeah, imagine if we did this." And now suddenly we're in the quarterfinals, and it's like, "Hang on, we weren't expecting this." So let's go for it. Let's have a good crack. And if we don't.
Mate, and if we get to the semi-final of the flipping Europa League and play Barcelona, well, yeah, I mean, that would be quite funny, wouldn't it? Knowing our luck, we'll end up getting Eintracht Frankfurt, getting beaten and beaten up.
Yeah. But I think, and this is what I said to my brother, I was like, if we go to Lyon and we lose that game and we go out the Europa League, I will still walk away from that ground that day with just such immense pride for what our club has achieved this season. And I will stand there and I will applaud every single one of those players, and I will applaud that manager. because
and then we'll go out until our 7 a.m. flight.
Yeah, and I'll still be clapping on that flight home because you know, the journey they've taken us on has been outstanding, and you know, obviously, hopefully it doesn't end in Lyon, but if it does, I'll still be the proudest man on.
Defo.
Yeah.
The journey has been one of pride, isn't it? So look, Jonesy, then on the Tottenham game, is there anything else that stood out for you? Really, I thought Ben Rama's goal was good.
Good
the
finish.
Betway charity bets, Jonesy. I know we haven't got any to look forward to, but I was flipping close actually. 18-1 mine was. Both teams to score. Sorry, Said Ben Rama to score anytime, and Declan Rice to have a shot on target. I mean, we barely had any shots on target, did we, other than Ben Rama's goal? I was glad I had that bit. Looking like it might come in. I was just hoping for Declan to ping one in from miles away, but unfortunately, no cigar.
Yeah, I had over 10.5 corners, over 2.5 goals. Both of those came in, but Manny Lanzini got hauled off in the end.
Yeah.
Absolutely shattered when he, bless him.
Yeah, Reece Bayliss.
Reece had over 2.5. Penalty to be awarded, and West Ham to have over 5.5 corners. I can't remember how many corners we had. We did have a few. But it might have just been under that. So, nothing.
Yeah. Oh, well, mate. Oh, well, never mind. Anything else then about the Spurs game? I thought Ben Rama was okay. Nice for him to get a goal. Probably positive, a little bit isolated towards the end. I thought Zuma was terrible. Easily his worst game in a West Ham shirt. I mean, he was unlucky with the goals, really. You know, people are slagging him or whatever. But the first one, he tries to block. Son misses it. He hits him on the knee, and that's just well unlucky that he loops in like that. Even the second one, you know, if that hits him a bit fuller on the leg, it balloons over the bar or it cannons out. I think he's just been really unlucky both times, but it did look like it affected him then afterwards, didn't it? Because he looked a bit out of sorts.
He did look out of sorts. Obviously, Tottenham fans, if you believe it's because they were booing him all game.
All 20 of them.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, he's been booed for the last month, and it hasn't really affected him. So
no. They're saying as if it was like the loudest boos he's ever heard. It was like, really wasn't.
No, the loudest were Watford when we played them less than 24 hours after the news broke. And everyone was still actually outraged by it. But yeah, the third goal was just Sunday League stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was annoying. That though, yeah, when they both go for it.
For the header, it's like, come on, boys!
They've clearly both just shouted "mine" at the same time.
It just has to land to Son.
Yeah, I feel that's a bit of misfortune. Like,
it's what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean,
the 3-1, I genuinely thought flattered them.
I think it did. They had a couple of other clear-cut chances. It was good that Kane couldn't score. But the big thing that really, 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 really annoyed me was Son just cheating, blatant cheating. I tweeted about it, and I had a load of people kicking off.
It was funny. I must admit, your Twitter thing was the best part of that day.
I can't remember who it was, and I'm sorry. I probably won't be able to find it amongst all my notifications. So whoever did tweet me, I'm sorry. I can't remember who it was, but it's just like I can literally picture you just like shuddering with anger, like I was on the podcast last time after the transfer window.
Right.
And I was literally like, how dare he? Like, the ball's touched your leg, mate. Why are you going? You're 29 years old, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing trying to get a player sent off for that?
And
then Regulon runs over and tries to have a pop at Zuma. It's like, mate, you couldn't fight your way out of a paper bag. I don't know what you're having a pop at Zuma for.
Johnson getting all up in his face was good.
It was the whole thing was just a little bit weird, and like it just annoyed me that everyone talks about Son being the nicest man in football. It's like, well, if he was, then he wouldn't be trying to get other players sent off by feigning a ball hitting his leg and hurting him.
It was like strong Rivaldo vibes, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it's like he hit his leg, he turned around, looked at the referee, and then fell over as if like, oh, look, ref, look what happened. Like, grow up, mate. Like, that sort of thing annoys me. I hate cheats. Genuinely hate cheats. And a couple of people, a couple of Spurs fans tweeted me and went, oh, what about Yarmolenko's dive against Kidderminster? And I was like,
also bad,
but he hasn't tried to get a player sent off in that situation. He hasn't tried to, like, deliberately get a player sent off. Yeah, Case tried to win a penalty and he failed and he got booked for it, I think, as well. Also very bad. But when you're feigning injury
He didn't
because of
do it properly though, Sonny, did he? He was just like looked, and he didn't even have the heart. He just knew it was a complete fallacy. But,
yeah, it just annoyed me. That thing just really frustrated me.
But as often happens, mate, on West Ham defeat days, it was a pretty gloomy day all round. I was just like walking away from the ground like that. I wasn't up for it before. It went as I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm leaving. And yeah, flicking onto Twitter and seeing a load of tweets from you put a smile on my face as usual, which was good stuff. Jonesy, the West Ham women. It feels at the moment, mate, like we're getting to the end of a podcast. And you know, like when you're at work and you know you're going on holiday for a couple of weeks, and like that last, you just you need to get through to the end of it. I feel like we're a bit like this with the podcast at the moment. Obviously, love doing it every single week, but it's been a lot the last few weeks, and it's been a few months. Been a bit difficult, mainly because of me starting a new job. Schedule's been a bit annoying or whatever. Both looking forward to a week off next week, I think. You're not actually on holiday, are you?
Next week.
Holiday next week?
No, but I've got a lot of work on because I'm away the following week, so it's pretty busy.
Makes sense. Fine. Yeah, and it's just like getting to the end of it. A little bit of a new format this week. Just the one long-winded conversation. The West Ham women, Jonesy, talking of cup success as we have been. Lisa Evans, her strike on 32 minutes saw West Ham United through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup with a 1-0 win away at Ipswich Town. Probably a little bit closer than we were hoping and expecting, mate. But gone through, been drawn at home to Manchester City in the following round on the 17th of April. That one's going to be. And frankly, mate, I think as Arsenal and Chelsea meet in the other semi, I think that's about as good as it could have gone for the girls.
100%. It's good that it won't be an Arsenal Chelsea final again this year. It seems like it's always those two in the final.
Yeah.
But we've beaten City already this season.
Yeah.
They're not as good as people were expecting them to be this year. I think they're 4th or 5th in the WSL, so they're only just above us.
Yeah.
So it's a winnable game, and it's at home. So, I think you're right. It is as good as it gets, and I think we've got a massive chance here to get to Wembley. Huge opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff. Yeah, well played, Ollie Harder again. Seems to be saying that a lot this season, which is enjoyable. Yeah, I think cup competition. Who cares about the result? Genuine chance to get into the final. How exciting would that be, mate? Yeah, so congratulations to the girls there. Nice little favourable draw. The draw about as good as it possibly could have been. You've avoided Arsenal and Chelsea and got the home leg. So, yeah, if you'd have picked it, you'd have picked that, wouldn't you? Which is brilliant stuff. Indeed, Jonesy, that's it for this week. A little bit shorter, a little bit of a different format. Week off for both of us next week, so there won't be a podcast. Actually, sorry, I'll take that back. There might be a podcast. It won't be a normal format. I'm hoping to have at least one, maybe 2 interviews, but there'll be no sort of anything other than, there'll be no reaction or anything like that. It will literally just be at least 1, maybe 2 standalone interviews. So hoping to get something out for you, but you won't hear from me and Jonesy in the usual fashion. Hope you don't mind. But yeah, hopefully we'll get something out for you one way or the other. Jonesy, bit of housekeeping before we go. Just a reminder, as usual, that you can follow us on Twitter at @WeAre_West Ham. Our personal ones, if you fancy getting onto those as well, I'm at William Pugh _ Jonesy is at by James Jones. So follow us over there as well. And the podcast one, Instagram with We Are West Ham Pod. Facebook, just search We Are West Ham Podcast. Do the same on YouTube to find our channel. You can email us at wearewesthampod@gmail.com. If you like, the links to all the ways you can follow us and contact the podcast are included in the description below. And you can buy us a beer and support the podcast at buymeacoffee.com/wearewestham. With some of that money is going towards mine and Jonesy's trip to Lyon, just on the flights to and from France, for that away Europa League quarter-final next month, which is exciting times indeed. So thanks to those of you who've donated already. You can donate more than once for as little as £5 each time. So if you fancy chipping in for the Lyon Beer Fund for me and James, you can do that over there, buymeacoffee.com/wearewestham. Thanks for listening this week. A bit of a different format. We hope you don't mind the fact that we spent about 3/4 of this podcast chatting about a game that happened last Thursday. That wave of happiness that I've been riding on since that game doesn't look like breaking anytime soon, which is an absolutely superb feeling. If you'd spoken to me, James, or if you listened to the podcast for a long time, which lots of you have, there's been so many gloomy, horrible times where you couldn't see the light for the dark grey clouds. But at the moment, whatever happens this season after Thursday night, for me, frankly, it will be considered a success. And how exciting it is that anything from now on is really just considered a bonus. What another 2 occasions we've got coming up: Lyon home and away, with the potential of a European semi-final against either Eintracht Frankfurt or, and drink this in, Barcelona home and away. It's unfathomable. It certainly would have been at the beginning of the season, but I'm pretty sure you can hear from what me and James are saying, and from most of the West Ham fans I've spoke to since that game on Thursday, this is the sort of stage where we really feel like we belong. What the fans did, if you were at London Stadium last Thursday, hats off to you. Well done. You should be so proud of yourself. If you weren't managed to get there, I'm sure you were watching from afar. What an occasion it was. What a time to be a West Ham fan. I've said that plenty of times this season, but I don't honestly think, even like James said, if we go out against Lyon, so be it. What an occasion that was. And hopefully we'll see plenty more of those in the next few years, as we're hopefully at the beginning of a new era for West Ham United Football Club. Jonesy, it's brilliant stuff indeed. I feel like I've gone a bit early then. I should have saved that for the final roundup because I haven't got any final thoughts from you. But good show this week. I shall miss you next week, no doubt. And the following week, you'll be in Dubai.
Yeah.
What a conundrum, mate.
I know.
What a time to be alive. Both personally and West Hamly.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm sure I'll be able to catch I think I missed 2 games while I'm out there. But yeah, should be jolly good fun.
Yeah,
I love the sun. Whereas you like going skiing, it's not for me. That
a bit too chilly.
I prefer a bit of sun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never been.
Final
before,
thoughts,
so
then, mate.
I'm very much
Final
looking forward to
thoughts
it,
on the show. It's only Thursday. Who cares about Tottenham, mate? We're bigger than that.
Oh yeah, I've already forgotten about that.
They're not even a European team.
Exactly. Yeah, just let him win, didn't we? Felt sorry for him. Yeah, I don't know what more to add to what we've already said across the podcast. Just a wonderful occasion, a wonderful night. Just want more of it now. As I said, just desperately want more of it. Hopefully we get it again against Lyon in the next round. But if we don't, just can't make sure that we have more of it next year and the year after that and the year after that. This has got to be West Ham now. This has got to be us every year.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. The new and improved West Ham United Football Club. Fingers crossed. Jared Bowen's injury, by the way, looks like it might keep him out for a little bit longer than planned. Declan Rice is off with England, in line to make his 28th 3 Lions appearance, looking to add to his 2 goals he's already got as the mainstay of Gareth Southgate's holding midfield. That's about it, really. Ultimately, I'm not going to drag it out. I've already used some salubrious, flowery language, forgetting that I still haven't asked James for his final thoughts. Follow us where you can. Thanks for your support. Thanks for listening, as always. I hope you've enjoyed, or I hope you enjoyed certainly the last few weeks of watching West Ham and listening to the podcast as much as we've enjoyed being there, watching it and doing it. Nice and simple message, really. West Ham are in the quarterfinals of a European competition and doing all right in the league. We are massive everywhere we go. Thanks for listening, everyone. Up the Hammers, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.